So as you can see, I have two water heaters. I have one electric and one gas. The electric is the tan tank, it's a Rheem, and then the natural gas is the white one, and it's a power vent, and it's made by a company called Richmond. So why do I have two tanks, and what am I doing with the way I piped it in? So I actually did this 20 years ago and never made a video, but I've had a number of people comment about how I did it when they've been in my house looking at it, and so I just thought I'd show everyone how I solved the little problem I had. So 20 years ago, I had a very old electric water heater, not the one you see in front of you. This one, the one that I had in this house, was manufactured in 1966, and so 20 years ago the utility wanted me to participate in a brand new program called Home Energy Management. So they came in and hooked up some equipment to my very old electric water heater and ended up breaking it. And what they did was they replaced it with this water heater right here, the tan one, the Rheem water heater. Now, I wasn't a particular fan of electric water heaters, especially since the utility was doing away with the PERC, discounted rate for people who had electric water heaters, and so I wasn't a big fan of the electric water heater, despite the fact that I got this one for free. So I went out and I ended up buying the white one, and let me show everybody a little bit about these water heaters first of all. So this one, once again, it's a Rheem, and you can see right there, 496, that's the manufacturer date, and it's 50 gallons right about there. So this one's a 50 gallon, and the Richmond is also a 50 gallon. You can see that right there, and then the manufacturer date on this one is 1998. So I did this back in 1998, and I'm going to show everybody what I did above here with the way I piped in everything. So I had an electric water heater, and it was actually right here. This water softener is very, very old. I don't even use it anymore, but still, it still functions properly. So I keep it. It still has salt in it if I ever wanted to have it go on, but I have it bypassed right now. So, anyways, the electric water heater was right here. They broke it. The utility broke it. They ended up buying me this one. I used this one for a very short period of time. And I think it was just a couple of months before I ran out and bought this one, the Richmond, the power vent. And then I just left this one until I was able to design the plumbing that I have above this. So this one really only had a couple of months on it. It's basically a brand new water heater, and I didn't want to throw it away, so I kept it and did the piping, and I'll show everybody what I did. And the benefit of this is now that I have two water heaters. The electric is not currently being used. The gas is, the power vent is, but if this does fail, I can simply throw a couple of valves and then flip a couple of breakers, and this one then would be the primary source of water for my house, and the power vent would be suspended or disconnected from the house. So long story short, what I can do is I can either run one of these water heaters, and it could be either one. It could be the electric or the gas, or I could run both water heaters, giving me 100 gallons if I were to put a jacuzzi in or something like that, or whatever. But I did not do that for that reason. Once again, I did this plumbing because I wanted to be able to very quickly and easily throw a couple of valves and be back in business until I had a chance to replace the power vent. And power vent simply means I don't have this hooked up to my chimney. The vent is PVC and it's exiting the rear of my home, and every time the water heater goes on heating the water, this vent right here in the back activates, and you can see over the years it's discolored the PVC, the 3-inch PVC pipe. So looking at the plumbing, I'll show you what I did once again. So the standard 240, I ran this into this one, and the cold water is this one here. So it feeds out of my filter down through here and goes into the natural gas, and I have it bypassed right there, this valve being closed. And what that means is it could in essence go down into the electric, and as you can see I could have either or. It could be in parallel or in series. And then when it comes out of the gas, the valve is open. And by the way, this valve is open too. In line, it's open. It's ball valve. It could be bypassed, but the bypass is currently open, so it's feeding directly into my home. But if I were to close this and then open these two valves and close these two, the electric water heater would be functional. And that was a need, and it was actually driven by my wife because she has a job in a hospital and she didn't want to come home and not be able to take a shower. So I designed this with her in mind, and it's nice having it just sit there without any issues. But I'm really pleased with this Richmond, to be honest with you. It's 20 years old now. I put it in 1998. It's actually over 20 years, and it's still functioning perfectly. Very, very pleased. I got this at Menards. I think I paid $300 as I remember. Very, very pleased. I did change the anode rod one time, and it was rather challenging. It's actually back here underneath the power vent. I haven't done this one, although although the anode rod is right here. But if you change the anode, in theory, the sacrificial anode rod, your water tank, your water heater will never fail, because the anode is an aluminum bar and it actually deteriorates as a sacrificial rod rather than the inside of your tank. So once again, this is just how I solve a need for my wife and myself.